guys, now I'm gonna take you in a trek amidst the Asian countryside, and I wanna let you see what plantations are now grown in Egypt in this time of the year, in winter especially. And as for me, I don't know so many crops, but what I see, I'll show you what I see. Other plants are not seen because they are planted in other parts of the country, but this part is called the Kahliya in the north of Egypt. There are some plants for winter, for this time of the year. Let us see it together. Actually, you could see now the Egyptian trefoil, and this plant is grown especially in winter months, and I mean November, December, January and February. These months are used for growing this plant, and it's one of the most important plants for farmers who feed animals or who keep animals at homes, because it's a basic plant for animals, to feed animals. And during the winter months, animals like to eat this plant because it helps them to bring milk and to be feeding or to be fed well. Another plant which I don't know its name, but perhaps it's lettuce, I don't know. On the edge of the land, of the farmland, the farmers grow some plants like dill and other plants which are used for adding flavor to the food that you eat. As you can see on the edge of the farmland, some plants for feeding or for putting on the food. Look how green the trefoil is. It's very comfortable to see it and to walk among the Egyptian country. It's better to stay here and to visit the Egyptian country if you are from Egypt. Nothing could be better than watching or coming across it and walking along the Egyptian field. You can see now the small canals that farmers use for irrigating their fields. These canals are dug among the fields here, and water is coming from the wide river Nile into the wider canals, and from the wider canals into small canals, and the small canals into the land. Some farmers build these rooms especially for keeping their machines, the machines that are used to lift the water from the canals into the farmland. These machines are sometimes important and expensive, and so farmers try to lock them in rooms. You see now the potatoes. The potatoes is a plant which is grown in Egypt in this time of the year, in December, in January, in winter months I mean, because it's the best time for potatoes to be grown now. It costs about 4 to 5 Egyptian pounds per kilo. Farmers like to grow cabbage, and cabbage is grown on the edge of the farmland or between both farmlands. As you can see now, it's the cabbage, the Egyptian cabbage, and it's a favorite plant for Egyptians to use in making a meal called mahshi. It's a meal which is famous, and tourists who come here in Egypt like to eat it. It's famous like kushari, but it's not common around the world. It's only here in Egypt. Egyptians use this cabbage like rolling it up into some rice and putting rice into it and using it for this food. Now we are in front of onions, and onions is grown in this time, but it's green. We have the onions green in this time of the year, and farmers, after growing it, they use it or dry it under wheat or under hay, straw like that, and keep it to be dried and to change into another material which is used also for food. Look how green it is. Wonderful. How relaxing you could be if you stood and sit by this land, this farmland. It's amazing. Nothing could describe the feeling that you could have here if you sit by some farmlands that are green in color. Another plant is beets. beets are grown this time of the year. Beets is green in color, but it's used for producing sugar. I wanna also let you know that in this time of the year, Egypt is distinguished by the good weather. The good weather is the time when you have clouds like these, but amidst the clouds you could see the sun sometimes shines, sometimes not. Comparing to the weather of Europe, it's very good, it's pretty good. As we have clouds, we have rain, we have not so much rain but little rain, but the weather is warm in winter, it's hot in the summer. Look how wonderful it is to see the green color in the countryside. And look how neat, how organized is this lot of land. And look, if you wanna know the clever farmer or the careless farmer, look at the edge of his land. You could see that you have the farmer let weeds like what you could see now. So he's not a careful farmer, but some farmers try to use every piece of land, every lot of land to use or to grow small crops or plants which are used for feeding him, feeding his family and feeding his animals. Another plant which I don't know its exact name. If anyone know the name of this plant, he could comment below and say the name of this plant. But what I want to say is this time of the year we have so many crops, and these crops are grown especially in winter. Sometimes it rains, sometimes not, but these plants and crops like winter. Winter crops are like wheat, trefoil, peas, potatoes, tomatoes as well. So many crops that I can't mention now because they are numerous. But I give you a shoot. I give you the photo of the Asian country from a close view, and you have to mention or to think about it to see how it is different from your countryside in your country or in your state. These plants are grown naturally. No human interference. No farmer put his hand to grow these plants. They are grown naturally. Some of them are used for feeding animals. Others are not useful. Some of them are useful for humans, like this one. This one I don't know its name, but people eat it for breakfast sometimes, not always. Look at this tree, sycamore tree. It's not ripe yet, but it still needs a month to be ready to eat. Sycamores, and it's a famous tree plant in Egypt. It's very delicious, very sweet, and very useful, by the way. Look here, look at the tree, wonderful tree. If it's ripe, children come and pick up some of these sycamores. Wonderful. Look how cloudy it is now, and the amount of clouds that you can see now refers to the rain that could come. Whether it comes or not, but this time of the year is the weather which is a mix between clouds and sun. This black lot of land that you see once was green. A week ago it was green, but the plant was plowed a week ago, and it was distributed to the souk or the market where people have it for food. It was potatoes. Now it's gonna be grown another time, and it's gonna be green after perhaps 3 weeks, perhaps a month. The plant you see now is called carrot, and I think no one doesn't know carrots. But when I was filming it, I didn't know its real name. When I asked the farmers, they told me it's carrots, and there are many kinds of it. But this kind of carrots is grown like 3 months. It takes 3 months to be grown. Again, they grow it for another 3 months. By the end of my video, I'd like to thank you for watching it, and if you wanna ask me anything about the countryside in Egypt, just comment below.